Some people look at a hunting property listing and only see a dollar sign. I see it as an investment. This is Deer and Deer Hunting Properties. Okay, let's get in the DDH Properties playbook with this 40-acre property. When I'm looking at a big wood situation or a swamp situation, this is almost ideal. We have our prototypical 40-acre parcel here, and it's off the road, which is super nice. This is a legendary swamp in northeast Wisconsin, known for big bucks. Mature bucks travel this swamp corridor religiously, and it allows them to grow big because you can see it's a large area. If we did a even bigger aerial view of this area, it's a swamp that runs for many miles. The thing that I really like about this 40-acre parcel here, there's an easement getting back into it, so we have to go past the first 40-acre parcel here to get back to the one that's for sale, and it has a southern boundary of the Maple Creek, which is really nice. Why do I like this? Several reasons. Number one, this is a natural boundary between this property and the property to the south, and also a natural deer corridor. When those deer get pushed from the south to the north, lots of good bedding area in there. So the other things that I like about this property is that it's got productive forests, which means it either has or has the potential of forest products coming off that land. So I'm going to think about that for the future, if either A, I want to make some income off the property, or value if I need to resell the property later. The other things that this property has, obviously lots of good cover, but lots of good natural travel east and west for deer. When you're looking at a piece like this, we're not going to have food plots. We're going to be hunting it the old-fashioned way, and that's through good old-fashioned scouting and then getting in between travel corridors from bedding and some of the feeding on the outlying agricultural areas. Well, what's the price? This price is about half the price of the going rate for productive deer hunting land in this region, which is super nice. A tick over $3,000 an acre, which might seem like a lot, but prime deer hunting habitat across the country, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 an acre and more. So when I look at it from that aspect, either A, if I'm buying it for myself, or if I'm buying it with another partner, I'm gonna weigh the cost benefits between buying that property and leasing a property. Buying a property is always going to win out because you're going to have that property is going to increase in value over the years. A couple other things to keep in mind, if you're not familiar with swampland, different states have different regulations, especially with wetland areas. So you really want to learn those rules and regulations before you go into buying a property like this. I know here in Wisconsin, wetlands have their own special ordinances, and you have to have permits and you have to have certain regulations, meet certain criteria. If you want to dry out areas, if you want to not so much plant areas with food plots, that's pretty much allowed. But if you want to bring in any kind of bridges or travel corridors for your vehicles, that's something you need to figure out beforehand, because you don't want to have that rude awakening thinking that you could do something and then come in there and find out that you can't. Okay, as with the case of any checkerboard property, and what I mean by that is if you look at this property, yes, you have landowners around you. So anytime I have a situation like that, I want to get a hold of the land agent. The DDH Properties land agents know their areas very intimately, and they're going to be able to tell you what are the hunting styles of the neighbors. In this particular case, I know it's a big QDM area, it's a big buck area, which is really nice to know, but you want to get that information right off the bat before you even start making an offer. You need to know what's going on around you, because let's face it, 40 acres is a great hunting property, but if you're trying to manage for big bucks, it's going to be difficult if the neighbors aren't on board with you. In this case, I know they are, and also in this case, I know that 1 or 2 landowners own more than 1 or 2 of these parcels. So that's huge, as opposed to having 12 different people, 12 different ideologies, that sort of thing. I'm going to look for that in any big wood situation or any swamp land situation, because there it's all about mass quantity. If you're in the surrounding ag land, a little bit different story, because you have a lot more diversity, a lot more edge habitat when you get into the farmland as opposed to into just these huge blocks of timber or swampland.
Hey, next up on Deer and Deer Hunting Properties, we're going to talk about soil samples and what you need to give your food plot everything it needs to be successful.
Deer and Deer Hunting Properties is brought to you by Analogics, perfecting the science of deer feed. Ready to harvest a giant? Let Analogics help you attract, hold, pattern, and grow trophy bucks. Analogics, because there is no off-season.
Hey, Tim here from Analogics Outdoors. Today we're taking a soil sample of a food plot, and that's the very first thing that you can do to have a successful plot, is to know what nutrients are in the soil currently so that you can amend the soil and get the exact nutrients for the plot that you are going to grow. So what we've done is we've basically just taken a shovel and we've dug down into the root zone. And I'm talking 6 to 9 inches down below the surface. You want to get past the layer of organic matter and like pine needles, the green vegetation. You want to get into the root zone. And what we're going to do is basically get a representative sample of this plot. This plot is about 1/3 of an acre. So we've taken 3 samples of different edges of this plot. Basically it's a high, a medium, and low ground. And we're going to mix those together in this pail, and we're going to put them in the soil sample bag, send it to the lab. The lab is going to send us back the results of what nutrients are currently in the soil. And then we're going to look at the recommendations. This is going to be a pro-brassica blend field. So we're going to look at the recommendations coming from the report telling us what we need to do to amend the soil. And next I want to show you a cool website that is free to use, and it's a fertilizer calculator. And let me show you how easy this is. Okay, so we've got the soil test right here in front of us, and we've got a fertilizer calculator, which is a handy tool from, this one happens to be from the University of Georgia, their extension office. So I'm going to apply 57 and 50 and 55, and those are our N, P, and K recommendations from the soil sample. And I'm looking for fertilizer samples that are in my area. So pretty much everywhere 10-10-10 is available, and I'm making sure that I've got it in 1 acre, and I'm looking at pounds per acre. If you have less than an acre plot, you can change it to square feet. But in this case, we're going to get the per acre recommendation. So I would need 550 pounds of 10-10-10 if that's the only fertilizer that I had available. And that would give me just a deficit of 2 pounds of nitrogen, and it would give me a surplus of 5 pounds of phosphorus. And the potassium is right on. So this is a great way to figure out exactly what you need. All right, so that is how you take the results from the soil sample and apply it to the fertilizer calculator to know exactly what you need to do to grow the best plot that you can and amend the soil correctly. Hey, Tim here from Analogics Outdoors. Today I want to cover a topic that's a little depressing, and that's finding dead deer on your property after the winter, probably as a result of winter mortality. So one thing we can do to try and prevent some of that death loss is to protein feed. And we've got a supplement called Anti-Supplement Gold that is a 16% protein. It's got everything deer need. It's a balanced diet. It's going to help get your deer in tip-top shape going into that winter time frame where we typically encounter most of the death loss. So at that time of the year, protein is at an all-time low. All of the other food sources have dwindled to nothing, and we're going to just try and get them through that winter time frame with supplement. Check out analogics.com for more information.
Deer and Deer Hunting Properties is brought to you by Orion Hunting Products. Engineered for stealth and safety, Orion's modular, lightweight design allows you to set up camp anywhere you want to hunt. No heavy equipment, no problem. Orion Hunting Products.
Hey, it's Jason Rickman with DDH Properties. Today, I'm going to talk about why you should list with DDH Properties. I think the most important reason, myself and all the agents at DDH Properties have real world experience. Not only have I purchased over 500 acres of properties, ranging from 18-acre parcels to 200+ acre parcels, I've also sold over 300+ acres of properties, small parcels and big parcels. So I can give you that real world experience. Along with all of the other agents that we have working for us have their own similar experiences. So that's a very important factor, along with the fact that I've sold over 1,000 properties for buyers and sellers alone, to be able to give you their experiences, the good things that happen, the negative things that happen, that can happen, that we don't want to happen, right? So I think that's a very important aspect. The other aspect is, we're not an agency that's just gonna put a sign in the yard and say, hey, good luck, I'll see you hopefully in a couple months with an offer. Not only do we stay in constant contact with you, whatever your a comfortability is, we always ask our sellers, hey, do you want update every week, every 2 weeks, a month? How do you want that? I think that's very important because too many agents just list it and then they go away and you don't hear from them until your listing's almost expired or they have a buyer possibly, right? So not only that though, we're gonna actually walk your property with you if you're available to walk it, so you can show us, hey, this is my honey hole. I've always shot big bucks, or I've always had pictures of big bucks here. Or, hey, I always had an issue here, and we'll give you some advice on what we can do to improve that area, or what you're already doing great that we can really enhance when we're trying to sell your property. So I think that's very important that we're on your property with you. The other thing is we have some of the best photography and drone equipment known out there. So we're gonna take the best pictures, best drone work, along with the boundaries, along with real world walking experience, where we can show people what your property is all about so that they can get a visual, whether they're your next door neighbor or they live 5 states away. The other advantage we have at Deer and Deer Hunting Properties is we are linked with Deer and Deer Hunting magazine with over 100,000 subscribers. And so it's for the hunter, right? And that's who we want your property to be seen by, is hunters, hunting fanatics. So that's an advantage where a lot of other real estate agents and companies can't give you. Your property could be featured in either the magazine or one of the TV shows with over 1 million buyers being able to see your property. Last but not least, our buyers and sellers have a unique advantage where we can get you hooked up with some of the leading products in the hunting industry at a discount for our buyers and sellers. So if you're looking to list or buy with DDH Properties, check out our website at ddhproperties.com or give me a call at 920-716-1680.
So let's throw it over to Brad Rucks, where he's in Missouri on a big woods hunt where he doubles up on a buck and a doe with his bow.
Headed to Butler, Missouri to hunt with the Scent Thief guys. It's their capital there, also their headquarters. It's, believe it or not, colder here in Missouri than it is at home. I think at noon when I was talking to my son, it was 47, and it's 29 here. So weather hasn't been real cooperative, but deer got to move. It's that time of year. October 26th should be good. We'll see. Headed down to Missouri, which is a great state. It's a lot bigger woods than what you assume, and in this area it was all big woods. So we're really not hunting up food sources, and the hunt did not go as planned, right? You look long-term weather, it looks like it's gonna be good. No, it was raining, snowing, sleeting, anywhere from 31 to 33 degrees and just miserable 4 days. Literally, we're talking about going home, and as soon as we decide we're gonna go home, boom, sun comes out. And I looked at the camera guys like, we're hunting tonight, those deer are gonna be on fire, and they were. Russell Epperson was our host, a good friend of ours in the industry. He was the one that had the property in Missouri. Overall, Russell had his property laid out tremendously, low pressure, right? The deer didn't know where we were gonna be. You could get in easily, undetected, and back out. I mean, we're in the stand probably about an hour, and out comes a buck. And he pops out. He's definitely a shooter. He's pretty wide. He's 4 yards. Right. Oh, no. at a big dead ringer. It's a freak nasty extreme. He's got to have a big hole in him. Beautiful 3-year-old 8-point. Man, we've hunted our butts off this week. Nastiest weather you can imagine. Rain, sleet, snow. Couldn't get in the tree stands because it's covered with ice. First nice night. And I think we just got one done. What a great hunt. Thank you, guys. I pull back my bow, grunt to stop him, and he literally turns, and now he's sharp quarter-2, which isn't a good shot, right? He's in my wheelhouse. I practice all the time at distance. I know I can make that shot. It's just that a lot of times you don't want to show it on TV. And I was like, screw it, I hunted hard. I mean, literally, we hunted dark to dark for 4 days in a row in some of the worst conditions possible. I'm gonna take that shot. So I shoot and I pinwheel hit the exact spot was aiming for. He wheels, he goes back in the block of CRP, and it's thick, nasty. So we're sitting there and we're all high-fiving, we're excited because we just endured the harsh elements, right? And we knew the buck was gonna be down, and literally all of a sudden the does popped out. I looked at the camera guy, he goes, I got a doe tag in my pocket. And he gives me the thumbs up, and we're gonna shoot her. We just shot a doe over here too. I call our friend that was hosting us, say, hey, I just shot a buck. And he's like, hey, you got one? I was like, actually, we got 2. The other one's laying over there. And he's like, 2, oh my gosh. Whenever you're hunting in a big property or any type of woods, you have to know about management. Should you harvest doe? Shouldn't you harvest a doe? On this particular property, it had more than enough animals. So if we have a doe tag in my pocket, we're gonna use it. Oh, you found him, Russell.
Right through the front shoulder.
Oh,
isn't he nice?
Yeah, he's a beauty.
Look at that.
Oh, he's a beautiful
Yeah,
deer.
got a kicker here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Wow, look at the body on that deer, huh?
Yeah.
Nice, great buck. Wow, after
Beautiful.
the week we've had, Russell.
Oh man, I'm telling
you. Oh, I can't thank you enough.
Oh,
I can't believe it. So it was a great way to end a hunt that was absolutely miserable conditions. And that's why you gotta endure. As a hunter, it's always not fun to be in the tree stand. A lot of guys give up, and we saw some good deer while we're in there in the bad conditions. We saw a good 8, we saw some other bucks. Russell was seeing them on their feet, so they're moving, but when that weather breaks and that high pressure comes in, the deer are gonna be on their feet, and that's what you're waiting for. When you're traveling, no matter in your home state or out of state, that's a great time to be in the woods.